can just go back. Yeah, thank you. That's all right. Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Craig Burrell, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Chaplain Kerry Frizzell. This evening, we're honoured to acknowledge Ms Claire Horton, Director General of the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, accompanied by Mr Tim Bayliss, Director of War Graves, Department of Veterans Affairs. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are one and free. With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the hearts of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private Sidney Torrington Allen. Sidney Allen was born in Gawler, South Australia, on the 4th of July 1883, the son of Mark and Ellen Allen. When Sidney was young, his family moved to West Maitland, New South Wales. His mother Ellen abandoned the family, leaving the children to be brought up by their father. Following the start of the First World War, Allen enlisted for service in the Australian Imperial Force at Liverpool on the 2nd of February 1915 and was posted to C Company of the newly raised 17th Battalion, which had begun forming at Liverpool Camp. After several months of intense training, Allen embarked with the rest of the 17th Battalion from Sydney on the 12th of May 1915 aboard the transport ship Themistocles, bound for Egypt. More training in the Egyptian desert followed before the battalion departed for Gallipoli. The 17th Battalion arrived on Gallipoli on the 20th of August and moved into positions at Rest Gully. Over the next week, elements of the battalion took part in the Battle of Hill 60, an ultimately futile attack that was part of the August offensive. In September, the 17th Battalion moved to Pope's and then Quinn's Post. Allen became a competent bomb thrower over the next few months. Quinn's Post was a scene of near constant action as each side, separated in places only by the width of a sandbagged wall, fought in an intense duel, mainly with bombs. In early October, Allen was hospitalised, suffering from dysentery. He returned to the battalion on the 5th of October and 2 days later was brought up on a charge of using obscene language to a non-commissioned officer. He was sentenced to 28 days of field punishment number 2. As the weather turned towards winter, casualties resulting from the cold and resultant illnesses began to increase. Allen was briefly hospitalised at the start of November with influenza. He was back with the battalion again 2 days later. At around 1 a.m. on the 7th of December, while occupying a position known as Post 6 at Quinn's, Allen announced to his comrades that he was going to throw a bomb. He lit the fuse of a cricket ball bomb, and as he was in the act of throwing the bomb, it detonated, killing him instantly. Several other men were wounded. An inquest held by the battalion questioned witnesses and those who had been nearby when the bomb detonated. Their findings agreed with those of the witnesses, that Allen was thought to have hung on to the bomb for a little too long, and as he was in the act of throwing the bomb, it exploded while still in his hand, killing him instantly. Allen was initially buried in Shrapnel Valley, but after the war his remains were reinterred in the Shrapnel Valley Cemetery. He was 32 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. A photograph of his headstone is displayed today by the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Sidney Torrington Allen, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we who are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the director, staff and volunteers, we thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support during the memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening.